Well, it took until the second week of the preseason, but we finally have the biggest update of the Terry McLaurin saga. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Command Show. My name is Grant Mitchell, and we are here to talk about everything involving the Washington Commanders. On today's episode, yet another Terry McLaurin update, but a big one. Big news from the front office. They saw what Kliff Kingsbury said yesterday, and they came to support him. What is expected to happen in the immediate future? Is a contract imminent? Why is a top NFL insider at Washington Commanders practice? We're going to get into all of that, plus players ruled out of the Bengals game, Jayden Daniels and the other starters playing, a whole bunch of updates from practice today out on the field at Ashburn. We got it all in this video, so strap in, hit the like button if you're enjoying the content. If you want to support me, subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on my daily uploads. And I'm not going to deprive you of the precious information any longer. Here's everything you got to know about the latest updates with Terry McLaurin. This has been such an ongoing, drawn-out situation. And as I've said, I almost feel guilty that I talk about him every day, but we've got updates every day. And you guys deserve to know every piece of the puzzle that is going on so that when we get the final picture, whatever it is, whether he's traded, signed, cut, tagged, anything, you understand why exactly it happened. So last night, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler said that the Commanders feel push comes to shove, they'll have something done by week 1. However, the two sides remain far apart. Direct quote here. From what I'm hearing, there's still a pretty sizable gap in how they see the wide receiver market. Washington's down here. Terry McLaurin's pretty high up here. I'm told the player is dug in, remains frustrated. Not a lot of traction on the trade right now, even though I know some teams that are interested and some have called the Commanders. That was last night. This morning, bombshell. The Commanders activate Terry McLaurin off of the PUP list, the physically unable to perform. If a player is on the PUP list, they will still be able to collect their game checks. They won't get fined for missing practice, but it means they've got some sort of injury, illness, whatever, and they cannot practice. What I love about this is the Commanders listened to what Kliff Kingsbury said yesterday. And I don't know if this was prearranged. They said, Kliff, you're gonna soft launch McLaurin's return, and then we're gonna make the move. I don't know if Kliff acted as a rogue agent, but what I love about this is just another sign that there's continuity among the decision makers. They move in unison. Kliff said, Terry, you got to practice. The next day, Terry is activated off the PUP list. No more corners, no more shadows to hide in. Terry, you are not injured. You are able to practice. You need to get out there. That is the move that's the message that's being sent by this move from the front office. Now, Terry wasn't seen on the field today. Normally, he would be working with athletic trainers. I want to point out, just because he was activated does not mean an extension is any closer. This is still a chess game, and this could be a chess move. It's possible that a contract comes in the next day or two. Terry and his agent feel the pressure and they start to acquiesce, knowing that they're not going to get the $35 million they were hoping for. But I do want to make sure that we're on the same page. Adam Schefter himself, ESPN's NFL insider, tweeted the move was unrelated to negotiations. Dan Quinn also said at his press conference after practice today, Terry McLaurin being activated off of the PUP list is not related to his contract situation. Now, with all of that being said, Adam Schefter was at Commanders practice today. Why is that? You know the Brian Windhorst meme when he was talking about the Utah Jazz and he's sitting there, it's this picture. It's like, why would they do that? Why would this happen? Well, I believe in the front office. I've got no reason to doubt them right now. But I think they could be being a little facetious. When they and Adam Schefter say that this is not related to a contract, does it mean that Terry's getting signed today? Probably not. I don't doubt them on that. Does it mean the heat is being turned up? And does it mean that a resolution, whether it is a contract or a trade, is now more likely to occur in the near future because this happened? I believe so. Again, why is Adam Schefter at practice today? The Bengals-Commanders game is Monday Night Football. It is on ESPN, so you can try to explain it however you want. But John Keim, Commanders reporter, works for ESPN. He's at practice every day. But Schefter, according to some reports, Candy Waller of Bowie TV Sports said that Schefter was getting more access than John Keim and the other reporters. Why is that? while Schefter is tweeting updates from the field, basically, when he's going on TV to make these discussions or have these discussions about McLaurin's contract, why is he at practice right now? Is he getting the most up-to-date information? Probably so. And listen, there's no doubt that Buddy Baker, Terry's agent, and him, if they're at home right now, they are realizing they have not played this hand as well as the Commanders. The Commanders have taken their time. They've made incremental moves, but at every point, they've asserted the fact that they have the leverage in these negotiations. Terry, because he's activated off the PUP list, he's going to get fined if he doesn't show up, if he doesn't play in games. And if he doesn't show up, he's not on the active roster, then his contract doesn't count. He's not able to accrue the games, of which he needs to have at least 6 for his contract year to count. So if he just doesn't show up at all this year, well, he's still under contract, as a lot of you guys made sure to point out in the comments on some of my past videos. So Terry, there are no moves left. The Commanders are not going to go to that 33, 35 million area. You can hold out if you want. You can cost yourself your game checks. At a certain point, you've got to come back. And if he does come back in like week 9, week 10, and he plays those 6 games so that his contract does expire, it doesn't seem as if he's going to get that money from anywhere else around the league. If nothing else, again, this is a sign that the Commanders' decision makers are all unified in their thinking. One more time, I don't know if this was Kliff just acting on his own and the front office followed him. I don't know if they had arranged for Kliff to make the first initial point of contact and the team is going to follow him, but they are moving together. Kliff says, Terry, you have to get at practice. We have to be able to practice these reps, get our chemistry down, get our familiarity, and be ready to play in week 1. And lo and behold, the next day, the team activates him off of PUP. So hats off to the Commanders once again. You can think what you want about how they've handled the financial part of everything, but they prove at every point they move in the same direction. And that, combined with the lack of leaks that we've heard, like we don't know what's going on with Brandon Coleman. We don't know what's going on with Noah Brown. Nobody still has a concrete number on what Terry wants and what the Commanders are offering. So there's no leaks. They move in the same direction. This is the exact makeup of a championship culture, and it starts in the front office. So kudos to them. A bit of housekeeping here. Even though McLaurin is off of PUP, Dan Quinn said that he expects him, or he will, be going through a standard ramp-up return-to-play process. However, he does not expect him to play in the preseason at all. And without the joint practice against the Ravens, that means he's not going to get any game speed reps against a real opponent, not just the Commanders' defense, potentially until week 1, if he's even ready to go in week 1. Now, that being said, Jayden Daniels and several other starters will play a few series against the Bengals, again, according to DQ. Some players that will not be available for that game include Bobby Wagner, Von Miller, Zach Ertz, Laramie Tunsil, Sam Cosmi, Brandon Coleman, Terry McLaurin, Marcus Mariota, Jordan McGee, and Javonte Jean-Baptiste. McGee wanted to play. He was a participant at practice again today after battling those injuries. DQ not going to allow him to play, might have a chance to play in the Ravens game. Bill, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, was in a non-contact jersey again today. Today was, they did not have pads on. They had them on yesterday, and Bill, I believe, was a full participant in that, but this was a precautionary measure. He did not re-aggravate everything. He was not, or anything. He was not ruled out of the Bengals game on Monday night. They just want to make sure that he is healthy. Now, what actually happened out there in practice? Not a ton of updates today. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video. Jayden had a 50-yard deep ball touchdown to Deebo Samuel. This is just more indication that the Commanders plan on using Deebo a lot differently than the 49ers did. He was almost exclusively motion, jet sweeps, slants, screens. He would line up in the backfield sometimes. It seems that the Commanders do plan on using him on these downfield routes more often. If you remember Jayden Daniels talking about him a couple of weeks ago, said the thing that surprised him the most about Deebo was how good he was at tracking the ball deep down the field. So Kliff potentially unleashing a side of Deebo that the NFL world has not seen up until this point. Jalen Lane, also another standout today. Multiple Commanders reporters talking about him. Luke McCaffrey apparently also made a couple of plays. I know that there's been a lot of recent Luke McCaffrey criticism. Lionel Willingham of 106.7 The Fan called him a bust or said it's not too early to start the bust conversations. I get it. It's disappointing. He had less than 200 receiving yards last year. but he also did only play receiver for 2 years in college after being a quarterback. And it was his first year in the NFL, and he wasn't coming from an SEC or Big Ten powerhouse. He was coming from Rice. So let's give him a year to adjust to the NFL, and let's see how he looks in his second season before we come to any of those conclusions. And if he doesn't play well, then okay, he's a bust, but let's at least give him a fair shake. So nice to hear that he made some plays today. Also, Jeremy Reaves continued his strong summer. He had an interception today. The concern with Reaves has always been his coverage skills. Not that he's been bad, it's just that he's never really gotten the opportunity to prove himself. We know he can tackle. We know that he has instincts and playmaking. We see that on special teams, but he's continued to be one of the standouts of the summer so far. If you remember from my video yesterday, Joe Witt Jr. said that he really wants to find a role for Reaves. He's earned the right to be that third safety in the rotation, might get in on some dime packages. So Jeremy Reaves continuing to make a name for himself. Guys, again, as a final wrap-up here, Terry McLaurin activated off of the PUP list. Apparently, reportedly, not directly related to contract negotiations. However, you're kidding yourself if you think that this doesn't mean A, contract is close, or B, this was a throw of the cards and the commander saying, look, you got to figure it out because we hold the leverage in this situation. Jump down to the comment section. Let me know what you think about the commander's latest move, activating Terry off of the PUP list. This is a massive development, and I only make these videos for your opinions. I'm just talking to an empty wall, and I'm reporting what other people have reported. I'm not even reporting. I'm sharing what other people have reported. So I could read this on my own and not think anything of it, but I want to know your opinions. You guys are the Commanders community. So comment section, go, give me the thoughts. Let me know what you think. Like this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here. I would love to get to 1,500 subs before the Bengals game on Monday. We're super close. So if you enjoy the content, you enjoy me, you enjoy the Commanders, and you have not subscribed, go ahead, do so. You got daily uploads coming your way. That's going to do it for this video, guys. As I always say, I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day.